What's going on, everybody? The video that's going to play here in a minute, I actually filmed it a couple months ago. I'm just now releasing it. The reason being is I had originally planned on refilming it. I didn't like the way that it had come out originally. It needed, well, I don't know, it was right when I was starting to make videos that I kind of put it together, and I had some ideas and more thoughts about what I had wanted to put in. And because of the big gap where I was really busy for a while and I unable to focus on any of the project, it kind of got away from me. So as I went to start refilming it and recollecting it, I realized that there was already, at this point, there was more I had to say in the video than I feel like I have to say now. Plus, the original intent, the intent of the channel is to just kind of record my thoughts and feelings on this project. And so I figured that it would be appropriate to capture that moment in time, how I was feeling. So I'm going to go ahead and just release it. I'm going to do a couple little editing here. It'll actually be better for what you'll see is a lot better than what it would have been. Like I said, it's just kind of like the process is about capturing my thoughts and some ideas. So the big one on this one is you know, feedback for people, what they think. It's still going to be a while before I actually get around to painting the bike, which is the subject of the video. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if anyone has any ideas on it, I'd love to hear you. So just, you know, throw it back at me. Put it on the put it down below in the comment section. You know. Anyway, enjoy it. What's going on, guys? I'm coming back at you with another video here, and this time I wanted to get the crowd's opinion. I may regret this, but I wanted to talk about the livery of how I'm going to be painting the bike up, and so just wanted to share some thoughts of it. So there's real quick, you know, whenever someone in my family undergoes a project like this, there's always a story that gets brought up. My uncle Ted restored a Model A pickup truck when I was a kid, and this story always gets retold. Not always in regard to somebody having a project. You know, there hasn't been that many projects in the family, but this is just one of those, you know, legendary stories that goes on. And so this is a 1933, I think, pickup truck that he restored. I'll have a picture up on the screen, one like it. I don't have a picture of it because he's long since sold it. But anyway, this old Model A pickup truck, he found it in somebody's backyard. It was legit barn find. And the story goes that the truck came back in pieces. In fact, my dad was a semi-truck driver at the time, and if I remember the story right, my dad actually used the semi they had strapped the stuff on the back of the semi with, you know, without a trailer. He used the semi to move some of the heavier parts of this old Model A. Anyway, the story goes that they get it back and they're unloading it in the front yard of my aunt and uncle's house, and my aunt comes out, and it's usually done to the detriment of my aunt, but the story's told that her first words when seeing this fairly large undertaking being unloaded into her front yard was, "What color are you going to paint it?" And so, you know, that's kind of a, you know, kind of a thing I've been thinking about. Like, obviously I have all this work to do, and I don't know that I set the scene well enough. Like, this thing, when my uncle got it, it was in pieces. We're talking about rusted, almost unrecognizable parts. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell what it was if you didn't already know what the thing was. So, you know, so here's this unrecognizable hunks of metal, and what color are you paint it? So we're gonna paint it. So, but I mean, it was a cool truck. It had, it was, if I remember right, I think it was a stake bed. So it was, you know, like a flat bed with wooden slats. I got a picture again that's close to it, but not quite the same vehicle, but it was red, like a fire engine red. So anyway, enough blathering about family history. I got to figure out what color to paint this 916. And, you know, I just want to hear some input. I want to have a mindset to preserve it. So, and I do kind of have a tendency to feel that a Ducati should be red. I do. My first Ducati was actually Ducati yellow. And so, you know, I don't have anything against the yellow bikes, but, you know, it's a 916. I really just think it really does need to be red. One of the key issues, as I know I've alluded to before, is that the bike is missing its fairings. It's missing both side fairings, the complete set, everything's gone. I don't know the details. I don't know if they were destroyed or damaged, or if they were not on the bike. The bike was stolen at a certain point and then recovered, which is kind of part of the story, how it came into my possession. The fairings that are on there, they're not in great shape, and so one of the things I'm thinking, and was one of the things that encouraged me to start this project, is that fairings aren't as bad as they used to be. You know, when I first started riding, fairings were, you know, if your Gixxer or whatever, your CBR, you dropped the fairings on the thing, you were paying, you know, quarter the cost of the bike to get these stupid hunks of plastic. Nowadays, we can order them from China. And so I could probably save some couple, you know, a little bit of money on ordering just the side fairings, but there's a good chance it's not going to match. And so I'm almost certainly going to get a complete fairing set. Now, the tank is also already red, which would encourage me to get red fairings. So, you know, I've had some ideas. I've seen some stuff online. You know, people have painted their bikes like turquoise blue, mariachi band blue, which my first car was actually turquoise. It's a turquoise half-ton Chevy pickup. But, you know, I don't want to do anything silly or outrageous. A guy I work with has a 848, and he painted it like neon orange. And it just doesn't look like a Ducati. So obviously we all know like what a Ducati is supposed to look like, but there's a very specific livery that would go on this bike. My bike as it came was the more stock, just it's all red. I'd never seen pictures of it with its original fairings, but I'm fairly certain it had the original Cagiva graphics. I don't know how to describe them. I'll put something up on the screen, as you could probably see right here, where, you know, with the gold lettering, the prior to Texas Pacific Group owning them. So, you know, I could just go that route. I'll probably get a full set. Now, there's some coolness on the fairings I don't know if I've mentioned before, but at the base of my tail section, there's actually some signatures, and I confirmed it with the original owner that the signatures are actually by Matt Mladen and Loris Capriossi, which are cool. So I'm not going to throw the old stuff away. It'll be worthwhile to keep, just because, you know, to have the original stuff. But sourcing original fairings from the factory that might not even match anyway. Some of you may know that some of the bikes that were built under Cagiva ownership were actually painted Cagiva red and not actually Ducati red, which is a slightly different little red. So again, I'm looking at having to source some stuff on eBay, but originally, as it came out red with the Cagiva Ducati 916 graphics. That's an option. The bike's already a little bit different from our factory. You know, the original factory bike would have had the gold bronze wheels. My bike's wheels have been painted black, and the original owner, who I've been in contact with, said he did that after they had been damaged. I didn't quite understand what he was saying with the details of that, but I mean, maybe I should be suspicious. A lot of the bikes of the era came out same graphics with the gold Cagiva font, Ducati 916 written on the side, but they would have a white tail section. And I really do like that. I like the white highlights on the overall red bike. You know, that just really does look solid. So I'm thinking about maybe that route, you know, if I'm going to update it, maybe doing the tail section just with that white. That's very common that you would see. But later bikes would also have, would have that, but with the updated Texas Pacific Group graphics, which are the graphics we would know from a Ducati today, right? And so I've considered that, you know. Now we're getting into, you know, how much do we want to preserve and how much do we want to have original? It must be the original from the factory, right? I don't know what to do. I've given it a lot of thought. There's some details throughout the bike that I want to preserve, like the Cagiva elephant. I'm pretty dead set. That's rather engraved on the fuel cap. On the fuel cap, there's the elephant is engraved on there, and I think that's really cool. So I want to preserve that, but do I want to preserve the old Cagiva graphics? You know, I don't know. I love the Ducati's modern graphics. That's my thing, man. So I wouldn't have a problem riding a bike with that, but I kind of want to preserve a little bit of the history, you know. One of the things we could do is go full on with the new stuff and to include in full script Ducati performance on the side, to include the instead of writing in the Cagiva style 916, use the updated style where the same way that a 996 would have looked or a 998. So one other option that we have is on top of, you know, the debate, do I maintain the Cagiva style bronze graphics with that font or the new Texas Pacific Group font, is what I could also add a white stripe to the nose, and that's kind of a cool thing that, again, I'm kind of interested in. The white stripe would be you know, similar to the way that the tail gets decorated. I really do like the white nose, so that's kind of what I'm angling for now too. Now, the one other thing, again, to debate is which way to go with it, is whether or not to put like the sponsorship graphics. You know, I could do something that's like a full Foggy replica. If you don't know, Foggy, Carl Fogarty was one of Ducati's riders at the time, and yeah, so we could do a full-on like replica of his bike. I'm always a little iffy on, you know, the fake sponsorship graphics. I'm obviously not sponsored. I'll never be sponsored for anything. So you know, it's I didn't really earn those sponsorship graphics, but I mean that's an option if I wanted to be super replica-y. I don't know if I'm going to go that route, though. I don't want to paint the wrong idea. I'm a tremendous Ducati Corsa fan. I love racing. I love motorcycle racing. I'm very passionate about it, but I don't know that I would want to wear the livery. Similar, I've seen, you know, a lot of people do. They'll rock a CBR with Repsol. You know, the orange and black, like the MotoGP team. Looks cool. If it's your thing, it's your thing. I'm not trashing it. I'm just saying it's not really my thing. I don't think I'm going to go that route. So I've seen some other designs. Some people change it up a little bit, break away. And again, this is where I'm kind of getting to that like question, like how much do I preserve this? How much do I make this? I mean, the thing is, the bike's never going to be a museum piece, right? So, you know, I don't know, how traditional do I need to be? The bike's going to be red. One graphic I found, I'm going to put again picture up here, is a slightly off variation of the way that the white striping was done. I've seen two things I really like. For one thing, it maintains the Cagiva graphics on the side, and then has a little bit more of a narrow white stripe on the nose. So I really do really like that. I've seen another one where they, instead of one single solid white stripe down the nose, there's two stripes that kind of go up almost like in line with the headlights. And the one graphic that I'll put up on here, the bike has one stripe green and one stripe white, and then, you know, red in the middle. So it's supposed to be like an Italian flag. Not bad. I do like having the Italian flag graphic somewhere, so I kind of want to add it somehow onto the bike. And that's one thing it's cool about these Chinese fairings, is you can pretty much customize them. It's not going to come out perfect, but you know, you can basically do a request and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, and they'll add the graphics on there. So some of the graphics that are on there now that I love is there's like on the tailpiece, it says Champion del Mondo, you know, champion of the world. World Superbike, you know, all that kind of stuff. I do like those details because they're not saying like I'm the world champion, which obviously, you know, that would be like my same kind of beef with the way that the fact that I'm not sponsored, you know, I don't want to like repping like I'm the world champion, obviously. But what I do like is that this bike is the product of, it resulted in a world championship. I dig that, right? So I would like to see those logos on there. One other change I've seen, a variation, is that same white tail section, but they add a black stripe right down the middle. Whew, looks really sweet. So I'm kind of angling towards that. Maybe that with the white nose, you know. Online, if you type in Ducati 916 fairing, there's all kinds of variations. I'm just going to put one up on the screen that I like the most. It's got a mixture of red, white, and black. Kind of flirting with that idea. You know, I really, to be honest, as I've been thinking over the past few days, because I originally was thinking just like all red, traditional, just try to reproduce the bike exactly as it was. But like, this thing's never going to be a museum piece. You know, I talked at length in my original video about like restoration versus like just kind of getting it working and looking nice. I'm angling towards like getting it working and looking nice, but tastefully. You know, I'm trying to shoot this line between, you got the one, a lot of sport bike guys will look down on the Ducati guys because we got a little bit of a reputation for like purity, and you didn't send it to Bologna to get its oil changed. You know, the bike has been corrupted now, right? And like, there's some Ducatistas that get that nutty, I think. But on the same side, the Ducatisti might look at the regular bike guy and like, oh man, you painted your bike neon, whatever. And, you did all these crazy graphics and you added all this stuff to it. So it's like two ends of it. And I need to find kind of like a happy medium where I'm not looking to this isn't a museum piece, right? I'm not going to like perfectly reproduce everything. And yet I also don't want to get too crazy with it. I want to be tasteful and respectful and traditional. I want it to, if not be exactly what the factory did, make it look like it came out of the factory, So, for example, I've got an example here. This is a 1098, but everyone knows the 1098 was really just Ducati's way of saying sorry about the 999. But we'll get back to that 916 stuff. But 916, 1098 look very similar. And here's one that's like it's Italianish colors, but it's like slightly off colors with this kind of like neon tinge. I don't want to do that. It's got to be the good solid racing red color. Another one I found here that again that's just not quite. So I think what I'm going to do is get something close to those what was available with that white tail. It's just kind of on the side humps, in the pictures you've seen it, and then maybe the white nose section and maybe some like little black highlights. But I don't know, maybe I'll stick with the traditional thing. I don't know. Anyway, the reason I'm putting all this into a video is I want to hear input. See what people think. Do you think I'm overthinking it? Should I just go as my heart's desired and put whatever decals I want on there, or should I, or am I being an idiot? Should I instead of spending a few $100s to get a full set, should I try to get actual OEM fairings? Probably going to want to sell this thing someday, and will there not be a buyer because it's too, because it's not pure, right? I mean, because it doesn't have OEM fairings and all that. I don't know. You give me some input. Tell me what you guys think. Obviously, there's comment box on YouTube. That's best way to contact me through this, through this medium. That way, all the commentaries in one spot. I'd love to hear. I actually really do want to hear back from people. I'm kind of like, I'm of two minds that I go back and forth. Like I keep saying, how much do I want to preserve? How much do I want to make my own? How much do I want to just get working? It's just a debate. I think it's a fun one. I'm not stressing over it, just having fun with it. But yeah, let me know. Tell me what you guys think. And as always, thanks for watching. I'm enjoying getting to pour my heart out and, you know, unload my thoughts. My wife appreciates me not bothering her with all this nonsense because she doesn't care as long as I don't spend too much money, right? So everyone, as always, thanks for watching. You know, like and subscribe if you don't mind. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for listening.